Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another Diecast Emporium review. Today, as you can see, we're going to be taking a look at the first gear in 1:64 scale, Komatsu PC210LC-11 Excavator. I know that's a mouthful, but you can thank Komatsu for that. This model is very well made. It has a lot of nice features on it. If you would like to pause the video and read about the dimensions, they're right there for you. And here's some nice, lovely pictures. So, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box and take a look at the actual model. Another great thing that First Gear does over other construction manufacturers is they go through a process that their plastic components end up turning out the same shade of color as their die-cast, which is not often seen. So, for example, sometimes hydraulic pistons will appear slightly off to the rest of the model because they didn't go ahead and fix the paint properly. But that's something that First Gear takes great pride in, and that's certainly the case here. You do have to be a little careful when you get this machine out because the bucket is in there rather tight. But there she is. So you can see the PC210LC over here. The grab rails are plastic, but that's okay, even though they appear to be slightly overscaled. But again, something is better than nothing. The track links are each individually linked, which is really good to see. And it will roll on a surface with any friction whatsoever. Up on top, you have anti-slip treads that are embossed into the casting. You have a nice exhaust right here. And you have your two colors of hydraulic lines leading up the stick and boom. Again, beautifully replicated, and they look great. Probably the best example I can show you is of the color is that cylinder jacket compared to the arm of the machine. I should say boom. Coming around back, you have a camera that's embossed in the casting, the Komatsu logo, two lights, and a safety label, which is really good to see. The mirrors have silvered surfaces on here. Now, onto the features. So, it'll go up to about that high, and it will reach out that far, which isn't bad at all. But as you can see at full extension, you still have a little bit of piston that the stick should be able to go back in, but it's no big deal. It's still enough to load a First Gear dump truck or any other 1:64 scale dump truck, which I will mention in a second. So we'll fold her back up. There's your bucket. Here's how far it goes out to empty. Here is your digging depth. Pretty darn good. I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's your digging depth. Okay, so how does this machine look on a lowboy? Well, first off, let's tuck her in tight. Kind of like after a business dinner, you got to tuck it in tight. All right, so let's bring in our First Gear Mac lowboy here. Also conveniently in 1:64 scale. Just bring the actual trailer part closer to you. And there you go. It makes a convincing and great looking trailer load. Now, for the last test. Is it high enough to load a truck? Even though I just told you it was. But I know a lot of you guys like to see it for yourself. There you go. No issue whatsoever. So, overall, my opinion of the PC210LC, made by First Gear in 1:64 scale, excuse me, is that it is an excellent model and worth adding to your collection. There is a huge market for 1/64 scale stuff with farming and trucks and that kind of thing. So it would be nice to see more construction equipment come out in this scale. I know I am in the minority of that opinion. Most people would prefer, just more and more and more stuff released in 1/50 scale. But I just feel like there's so much out there in 1/50 scale, it would be nice to go back down to 187 or 1/64 and have a little bit more variety than what we currently have. So kudos to First Gear for going and getting the license to do 2 of the Komatsu models. If you haven't seen the bulldozer review, look at the top of your screen right now. I'll post a link for that video. And yeah, guys, let First Gear know, because they're going to be reading and watching this video and reading the comments. So let them know what you want to see more of, in terms of scale wise, or maybe even equipment wise, if you have something specific you would like them to do. But please bear in mind that it takes a lot of money to make a casting. So there has to be enough demand for it to happen. So do bear that in mind. But until next time, guys, appreciate you checking in on Diecast Emporium and spending some time watching the video, and we'll see you next time. Take care.